for example, had to pay $400 million in fines because they were found guilty of arbitrarily adding fees on people's credit card statements, even though those people weren't supposed to be getting those fees added. And that happens throughout the entire industry. And the interest rates just keep going up, and they're charging you exorbitant amounts of interest. You could actually use your credit card for a $1,000 purchase. And in 3 years, you could actually owe that credit card company $5,000 because of fees and interest. It's outrageously insane. And so people are getting buried. That's why some people say, wait a minute, I haven't used my credit card in 6 months. I make the minimum payments, but why do I owe more now than I did 6 months ago? Because the credit card companies are set up that way. So getting people financially free is something that's relatively important to me as well. So that's the reason why I'm here. I'm here at Donald as a friend, and because I really believe in this organization and the opportunity. There's nothing else out there. And I've been invited to speak at, I'm invited to speak everywhere. I say no to everybody. I mean, and the amount of money that people are willing to pay is in the 7 figures, and I still don't go. So I'm here, and I'm glad to be here, and I hope you're glad as well. Thank you. Thank you. Another question that came up, and this is an interesting one, which we're going to discuss, is when we were going through this process here, someone said, let me ask you a question, Kevin. I wrote down my goals, and when I started doing the process, I felt worse. When I was focusing on one of these things, I didn't feel good at all. I actually was at this place, and when I was focusing on something, it actually made me feel bad. Okay? You're going to see why that's a good sign, because that's something that we can easily correct. And if that phenomena has occurred to you, don't worry about it. By the end of today or mid-tomorrow, you'll see the solution to that and why. I'm going to explain the phenomena, why that occurs. But you'll understand why. Another question that came up is, Kevin, there are a lot of people that seem to be professional seminar attendees. They read every book, they listen to every CD album, they attend everybody's seminar. They know all this stuff, quote, they know it like the back of their hand. They can quote everybody, but they're still broke. And they still don't have the things in life that they're desiring. Why is that? If this stuff really works, and these people are the most educated in this material, why aren't they achieving what they want? Why aren't they getting in life the things that they want? The answer is, if you are not getting in life the things that you desire, if you're at a place that you don't want to be, there are only 2 reasons. The first reason is you're not sending out the right vibration. And the second reason is, if you are sending out the right vibration, you're doing something to block the receipt. So we're going to talk about this afternoon, how do we send out the right vibration? How do we make sure we get the right vibration? And what are the things that can block the receipt? That's what we're going to be describing. Now, some of you, of course, asked me when I mentioned the fact that there was one book that, of all the books I've ever read, this is the only book, and I've read thousands, where I virtually concur with every single sentence. And I've actually used this particular book as kind of the textbook, if you will, for this event. This is the book here. It's called Ask and It Is Given. It's by Esther and Jerry Hicks. Ask and It Is Given. And I would highly suggest and recommend this book. And what I want to do now, before we actually get into some of the exercises, is I want to go through this book with you just for a few moments. And I'm going to read just a few little excerpts directly out of this book. This is a very unique book, as I mentioned, because it's the only thing that, again, I agree with every single sentence in the book, which is hard for me to do. So I'm going to read a couple sentences out of here and then just kind of extrapolate on those. and you have a flavor for this book as well. I mentioned that emotional guidance system, that emotional scale, and why that is so important. And I had mentioned that when you are on this side of the scale or on your papers that we wrote down, if you're at the top of the scale, the joy one, the further you are on this side of the scale or in your paper, the top, joy, bliss, the closer you are to that, that is your indication that what you are thinking about and what your dominant thoughts are in complete alignment. That tells you if your vibration is correct. If you don't feel good, that tells you you're putting out the wrong vibration. If you think of something that you want and you feel bad, that means you're putting the wrong vibration out on that item. If you think about what you want and you feel good, the gooder you feel, the better you feel. That means the closer that vibration is to perfection. Do you understand that? This is the simple way to monitor your thoughts. You do not have to monitor your thoughts. All you have to do is monitor how you feel. Now, the question that comes up is, but what if I feel crappy? What do I do? I'm going to give you those steps in a minute, okay? But I want you to understand the concept first. So the closer you are to feeling good and the better you feel on a particular subject, like if you think about the business, if you think about your independent business ownership in ITV Ventures and you think about your future, if you're not feeling blissfully happy and super good, then your thoughts about it are not vibrationally correct. The better you feel about it, the more vibrationally correct you are and the faster you will attain it. If you think about going platinum, and when you think about it, you feel on this side kind of, you're not vibrating the right vibration. Your thoughts are off. Your vibrational frequency is off. Well, what do I do? I'm going to tell you that. I just want you to understand the concept first. But if you feel really good when you think about that particular item, whether it's something you want like a car or becoming platinum or whatever, when you focus and think about that, the better you feel, that means you are sending out the proper vibration. So with that in mind, let me just read a couple things on this. It says, it is the absolute promise that when you understand the power of feeling good now, no matter what the situation that you're in, you will hold the key to the achievement of any state of being, any state of health, any state of wealth, or any state of anything you desire. That's how simple it is.
That's what you get.
What's the magic? Simple. I'm going to show you how to do this, but this is your simple objective. No matter what financial position you're in, no matter how many people that you approach who said no, no matter how many people quit, no matter how much your volume is, no matter how bad things look, if you can feel good now, right now, the closer and better you are to the top end of the scale on the emotions, that is the key, because that tells you you're in vibrational harmony. That means you're sending out the proper vibration that will get you what you want, and that is the key. You hold the power by doing that. Your goal is very simple. Every minute of the day, your goal is simply one thing: feel good. Be happy. Be excited. The emotions that are on the top end of the scale. This is the key. Now think about it for a second. If you're feeling blissfully happy and giggling and laughing and ecstatic every minute of the day, here's the opposite side of the coin. Does it really even matter what you got? Because isn't that all?
All right, guys, let's get this call started. It's 10:45-ish. Here we are. All right, familia. There we are. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Happy Thursday, familia. I hope everybody is having a phenomenal start to their day. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling blessed. I'm feeling connected. Everything I touch is turning to gold. I expect miracles. I get miracles. Vibrations are at an all-time high. Frequencies are at an all-time high. Your frequency is what you frequently see. And it just feels amazing, guys. Honestly, life is amazing. God is amazing. He gets all the love, all the glory, all the passion, everything, because we really are in a good time. Less than 2 weeks away from 2025. And, a lot of these last couple of calls have been a lot of preparation. Put a letter P in the chat if you've been preparing yourself for the year, if you've been doing your routines, if you've been organizing your life, organizing your schedule, organizing your routines, organizing your house, cleaning it up, making sure that your finances are in place, setting up budgets, doing everything that's required in order for you to be the most prepared that you've ever been going into a new year, right? I think that's the energy that I feel from a lot of people right now. I feel like a lot of people right now are in this, preparation energy, right? They're in this like, yo, Nano, right now I'm preparing more than I ever have because I want to be more prepared for this new year than ever before. Because remember, if we do what we've always done, we will get what we've always had. Okay, I'll repeat that. If we do what we have always done, we will get what we have always had. So you can't approach this new year the same way you've approached every other year. This new year, you have to approach it with a different level of intention, with a different level of organization, with a different level of focus, with a different level of passion, a different level of forgiveness, okay, of maybe the things that you didn't do this year. Okay, forgiving yourself for the work that you didn't do, forgiving yourself for the goals that you didn't accomplish, forgiving yourself for all the things that you said that you were going to do that you didn't do. So this new year, this is the kind of energy that we all have to be prepared for. And me, myself, I've been a perfect example of it. I've been setting myself up in, I want to show up differently on social media in 2025. I want to show up differently with my finances. I'm setting up budgets and a bunch of other things in my life. I'm getting things fixed. I'm getting things organized. Routines are in place. Everything down. I want to pay attention to every single detail, from my business to my personal life to my family to my finances to my relationship with God. Everything is very detailed and planned out and organized and prepared for the new year, right? I'm not going to wait till January 1st to start organizing these things. All these things are already in place. I think this week for me, I was telling this to some of my students yesterday. I said this week for me was the organization week, the preparation weekend. I highly recommend you guys, if you haven't already done that, okay, start doing that. If you've been waiting for a sign, if you've been waiting for, a reminder, let this be the reminder that reminds you like, hey, I got to get organized. I got to get right. And I got to make sure that, I'm being intentional, right? Because that is the key, to success. And that's what's going to help you guys really take yourself to the next level. Okay. Now we have a very important training today. I'm very, very excited for today's training. Welcome to everybody, all new people and all existing members, for jumping on today's call. Very, very grateful for you guys. Real quick, before we get the call started, send this out to a friend, family member. Send this out, let people know that we're live, we're ready to go. We got a good training today. And I'm really looking forward to this training because today we're going to be talking about seeing potential beyond circumstance. And the reason why I chose this training was because I want you guys to see yourself for more than you actually are. Okay. Yep, we got the iced coffee on deck here. I want everybody that's on this call to see themselves for more than they actually are. Okay. One thing about me is, and about life in general, is I have a really good eye for seeing people for more than they actually are. I never see people for where they are at the moment. I see people for where they're going. You see, because I was told once, and if you guys want, you could write this down. Never judge a person by its current circumstance. It's one thing I learned. Never judge a person by its current circumstance. Okay. I'm sure some of you guys right now on this call would not like to be judged based off of your current circumstances. As a matter of fact, put a 2 in the chat box if you believe that you are worth more, that you are more valuable, that you are better than what you are right now. Truly, put a 2 in the chat box if you know you're better than where you are right now at this current circumstance. You know you could do better. You know you could be more disciplined. You know you could be more consistent with the things that you're doing. You know you could be a better communicator. Your emotional intelligence can increase. You know that you could be better at these things, right? So we can all agree. Daniel can agree. Brianda can agree. Zion, Junior, Joel, Valeria, Claudia, Eunice, Giovanni, Karina, Tasha, Abiel, right? Tori, Steph is on here with us. Mike, Rosie, right? We all can agree. Chris Cutts is on here with us. Okay. We all can agree that, we are more than what we are currently experiencing right now. And I want you guys to hear this. This is powerful right here. Listen to this. And it's a simple sentence, but there's so much power in it. The oak sleeps in the acorn. The oak sleeps in the acorn. Now, I want you to think about that real quick. The oak sleeps in the acorn. Think about this really quick. Think about how small an acorn is. Think about how small an acorn is. But the oak, what am I referring to when I say the oak? Does anybody know? Does anybody understand this quote? What's the oak? Anybody know? What's the oak that sleeps in the acorn? Let's see. Anybody know? There you go, a tree. But have you guys ever seen an oak tree? How big an oak tree actually is, though? Like, I want you guys real quick, go into your Google Images and look up an oak tree. Look up what an oak tree looks like so that you can see the size of this thing. Okay? Look up the size of this thing because this thing is huge. They're absolutely like, let me see if I can actually bring it up right here so we could get a better the oak tree is oof. Sheesh. Let me share my screen right here. Let me show you guys. Look at the size of these oak trees. Look at these. Look at the size of these. Look at the trunks on them. All right, look at how big these are. These are huge. The acorn. Look at what an acorn looks like. Look at this thing. Look how small, right? Look how small the acorns are. Right? The oak sleeps in the acorn. All right? So what does that mean? We have to remember that we have so much more potential than what it is that we give ourselves credit for. Okay? We have so much more potential than we give ourselves credit for. Right now, a lot of you guys, you're the oak tree, but you're right now sleeping in the acorn. I believe that about myself. I believe there's an oak tree inside the little acorn for myself as well. I'm worth so much more. I'm capable of so much more. And you got to be able to see the potential that you have in yourself the exact same way. You guys ever seen the picture on Instagram of the little kitty looking into the mirror, and in the mirror it sees a lion? That's us. That's us on this call. We're the little cat looking into the mirror, but when we look into the mirror, we see the big, healthy lion. That's us, familia. And here, what I'm explaining to you guys is that you can't see yourself for where you are. You got to see yourself for where you're going. Because what ends up happening is you got to remember, if you see yourself for where you are and you're not happy with where you are, you're going to stay where you are. Okay? If you're not happy with where you are right now. Yes, there you go, Remy. So the oak and the acorn represents our hidden but possible potential. Exactly. Literally perfect explanation. It's your perfect explanation. And sometimes we keep ourselves as an acorn. We never let ourselves thrive. We never step outside that comfort zone. We never break that shell. We never plant ourselves in the right environments. We don't water the seed. We don't give sunlight to the seed. We don't speak to the seed. So it never grows to be the oak tree. Some people die as acorns. They never get to see the full potential of their lives. My mentor once told me, he said, Nano, did you know that people are operating on less than 10% of their potential? Majority of people in this world live only on 10% of their potential. And that's very disappointing, because that means that majority of people are walking around this life without using 80 to 90% of the potential that they're capable of. And this is important for all of us to understand. Even for me, as I'm listening to this, right, and as I'm doing this training for you guys, I'm like, man, like, I don't feel like I'm in the acorn anymore. I feel like I've started to grow my tree already, but my tree's not fully grown. My tree is now sprouting. I feel like my tree is now starting to come off the ground, but it's not a big oak tree yet, because I still have so much more to do. I still have so much more to accomplish, right? So there's 3 key points that I want to cover on today's training when it comes to seeing potential beyond your circumstances. Okay. Point number one is the power of vision over judgment. Okay. The power of vision over judgment. What do I mean by this? Okay. A person's current situation is a snapshot, not the full story. Your current situation is just a quick snapshot. It's not the full story. All right. So you could be going through an amazing time right now. Everything is working for you. Great. That's a snapshot. But it's not the full story. There's still so much more that's about to happen in your story. You could be going through a tough time right now. You could be going through a struggle, a challenge. Okay. But it's just a snapshot at this very moment. It's not the full story. It's part of the story, but it's not the full story. Okay. So we always got to understand and remember that we are worth so much more than we give ourselves credit for. But the only way for us to reach those other levels is we got to allow ourselves to step into the deep. We got to jump into the ocean. We got to go and see what we're truly capable of. And you'll never know what you're truly capable of if you don't push yourself outside your limits. How early can you wake up? How many books can you read a month? How many times a day can you write your goals down? How many hours can you study for? I remember my mentor told me once, he said, Nano, work yourself till failure. Work yourself to exhaustion. See how far you can take your body. Exhaust yourself, take a day off, and then do it again. And I did it. He said, bro, when you're not where you want to be at, when you're broke, when you're not happy where you are, bro, work yourself to exhaustion. Wake up the earliest you could wake up. Stay the latest that you could stay up. Do it every day until you're so exhausted. Work yourself to the point where you're falling asleep throughout the day because of how much you're working. And then take a day off, take a weekend off, and then start all over again. And then work yourself again onto exhaustion. And I remember doing that for like 6 months. I remember working 18, 19, 20-hour days, certain days, because of how obsessed I was to become a better version of myself. I was working towards that potential. I started to figure things out about myself that I didn't even know I could do. I didn't know I could work out 6, 7 days a week. I didn't know that I can convince my mind to read every single day because I wasn't somebody that read every day. I didn't know that I could go and stand on the streets of New York City and talk to people about my business. These were all things that I was not aware of because I had never pushed myself to that level. I didn't know that I could start posting on social media and get a lot of content and get a lot of engagement until I started to do it. I remember around the time that I did this, I did if you scroll down on my social media, there was a time where I was getting very uncomfortable. This was around the time that I was working myself to a failure. I did 7, if I remember properly, it was 7 topics in 7 different places in New York City. So at the time I was kind of having like when people say they have a writer's block, I was having like a content block. So I didn't know what to post. I was like, yo, what do I post? Like, I need to post something on social media. And I was very comfortable. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do 7 topics in 7 different locations all around New York City. I made the decision and I went out and did it. And number one was the power of vision over judgment. The power of vision over judgment. And I remember starting, and I picked 7 locations all around New York. I picked the Vessel. I don't know if you guys know what the Vessel is. It's like the honeycomb looking thing. Obviously, I did the Empire State Building. We went up. Like, I paid to go up to the Empire State Building and do a video from the top of the Empire State Building. We did Central Park. We did the Statue of Liberty. I literally took my mom to the Statue of Liberty as a trip, and I had her record me do one of the sessions there. We did Yankee Stadium. We did my neighborhood and the Brooklyn Bridge, and we did the Brooklyn Bridge. So I picked like 7 of my favorite locations, and I went all over the city, getting uncomfortable. And I realized more of my potential in that process. Because what did I do? I chose to step out of that comfort zone. I chose to go out there and push myself and push my limits to what I thought I could do. So it's realizing what you can do and then over exceeding what you can do. At the time, I was only waking up at 7 a.m. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to start waking up at 6 a.m. At the time, I was only reading a book a month. I said, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to read a book a week. I know this sounds crazy, but I did it for a period of time. I swear I did it for a period of time. I became so obsessed with pushing myself outside of my current potential because I knew I could do more. I was limiting myself. I realized I was limiting myself. Guys, it got to the point where I was literally reading a book a week. I would grab a book like this, for example. Okay, what to say when you talk to yourself. Oh, a new week, perfect. Okay, this book has, let me check how many pages. This book has a total of 207 pages. I would grab my calculator. I would go to my calculator and I would just, because I was going to read every day, I would be like, okay, what's 207 divided by 7 days out of the week? Okay, perfect. 29.5. Okay, that means I got to read 30 pages every day. That was the goal. It wasn't about reading 10 pages a day. It wasn't about reading for 30 minutes. I had to read 30 pages every day. And if I read 30 pages every day, I finish this book. Okay, next Monday, what's the next book? Power of Awareness. Fine, perfect. Okay, this book has, 187 pages. Similar. Okay, this one had 200, so this one's probably about the same. I got to read about 25 to 30 pages. Boom. And what I started to do was I started to read a book a week. So I went from reading a book a month to reading a book a week. So I was reading 4 books a month. In 90 days, I had read over 12 books. Sometimes people don't read a book a year. I was reading 12 books every 90 days. I came obsessed with the idea to see what I was capable of. You understand what I'm saying? I said, how far can I push myself past exhaustion? I had never did a 30-day run in my life. 30-day run, I had never did it. In entrepreneurship, I had never did it. You know what's a 30-day run? A 30-day run is where you go 30 days straight without taking a day off. Like I'm talking about 30 days where every day you did your routine. Every day you did what you were supposed to do for 30 days straight. No Saturdays or Sundays off, no partying, no smoking, no relaxing, no nothing. It was just every day for 30. I had never did it. I did it during that time. Sometimes that's what it takes. Because here's the thing, going back to point number one, it's about seeing the vision over the judgment. Sometimes we spend too much time judging ourselves. Oh, Nano, you're not that good. You know, you've been slacking here. You're not doing this. You start to feel guilty about yourself. We spend too much time judging ourselves. And that's what destroys us. Because when we judge ourselves, we bring ourselves down. So, and we don't see ourselves as more, we actually see ourselves as less because we spend too much time judging our current circumstances. Damn, bro, you're not there yet. You're not the leader you said you were going to be. You're not as consistent as you claim to be. You're not as disciplined as you claim to be. You're not the trader, the investor. And easily, instead of bringing yourself up and seeing a vision for yourself, you actually judge yourself and see yourself as less. Very important to remember this. Remember, today's training is seeing potential beyond your circumstances. Okay? This is why friends and family don't support you until strangers celebrate you. Okay? Remember this. Friends and family won't support you until strangers celebrate you. Understand that. Okay? And why is that? Why is it that friends and family don't support us until strangers celebrate us? It's because friends and family, okay, they see you for where you are at the current moment. Okay? When I started my business, when I started entrepreneurship, my friends and family didn't support me because of where I was at the moment. I was a 23-year-old man with no job living at my parents' house. So think about that. I'm 23, 24 years old. You know, I'm a grown ass man who just graduated from college. I'm living with both my parents and I have no job. And I'm over here telling people I'm going to be successful. This. So people were like, Nano, what, bro? Like, what are you even saying? You know, people would look at me like I was crazy, and I would tell people, like, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire one day. How? You know, where? I used to tell people I was successful during these times. And you know what the thing is? My friends and family, they saw me for where I was at the moment. They saw me as the young kid, broke, living with his parents, baseball career came to an end. But strangers, here's the beautiful thing, strangers see you for where you're going. So I would say this to you guys, because a lot of you guys in my life, even though some of you have turned into family for me, a lot of us, we were strangers a couple of weeks, months, maybe years ago, right? We were strangers. But you guys believed in me because you guys saw me for where I was going. Y'all saw me for where I was going. Y'all like, yo, Nano's going somewhere. Nano's reading the books. Nano's showing up every day. Nano's doing the calls, the trainings, the social media posting. Okay. And that's how it is sometimes. Like there's certain leaders of mine that I don't see them for where they are right now. I'm like, yo, I get where you are because I've been there before. But that's not, I don't judge you based off of your current circumstance. I judge you based off of the person I know you can become. That's why some leadership is a double-edged sword. Because sometimes certain people, you believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And sometimes people, they see you for something, and sometimes when you don't see yourself living up to it, you almost feel bad. You know, you're like, damn, bro, like these people see me as that. And sometimes you need that. Believe it or not, it's something called borrowed faith. Borrowed faith. So powerful. When I lost faith, I had to use borrowed. I had to borrow people's faith in me. I remember borrowing, my sister. I always give her I always send her so much love. As a matter of fact, I even send her a message on Thanksgiving. Her name is Janelis Rosa. That's my mentor's wife, Matt Rosa, Janelis Rosa. When she met me, it's how true it is. It's 11/11, everything I'm telling you guys right now. When she met me, nobody saw potential in me but her. Not even my own leaders saw potential in me. Look at how life works. Okay, listen to how life works. My own mentor, the person that I wanted to believe in me, okay, didn't believe in me, but it was my fault because, the opportunity that I did have to show him that I was a good leader, I actually, like they said, I shit the bed, when I had the opportunity to do something, when it was my opportunity, I messed it up. I'll tell you guys a story. Listen to this story. This is so funny. So I go to an event, and we're going to an event in Connecticut. And I know that at this event, in the top leaders in the city are going to speak. And there's about 40 to 50 people at the event. I'm going as a guest. I'm going as a student to learn. I'm barely making, I'm just making like $600 a month at the time. So, I get invited to this event. I go to the event, but I go dressed like as a student. I didn't go dressed as a leader who's going to present, which was a big mistake that I made at the time. So as I get to the event, I got there like an hour early. So I got there, I'm getting everybody's in, and I'm just, hanging out, chopping it up. And then I get a phone call. Yo, we're running behind super late. We need somebody to at least open up the event. And that way, by the time we get there, we can just come in and, it doesn't look like we started the event late. We're running like 30 minutes late. So let's say the event started at 11. They weren't going to get there till 11:30. So they needed somebody to open up the event for the first, 20 to 30 minutes till they got there. And the only leader that was there at the time was me. So now I'm like, they're like, yo, Nano, we're going to need you to step up. I'm like, yo, I'm not even dressed for this. Like, I'm in just some jeans and a t-shirt. You're like, yo, this is your time. So long story short, I end up starting like 15, 20 minutes later, and I start, but I haven't done this before. And mind you, I'm doing a presentation in front of 40, 50 people. And then out of nowhere, as I'm doing the presentation, all my mentors walk in. And I automatically get so nervous. When you get so nervous, my mouth started to dry up, and I was just so nervous the whole moment. I just wanted to get off the stage already. I'm like, yo, I just want to get off of this. And I did a very bad presentation. I'll be honest with you guys. It was pretty bad, to the point that when I brought Matt Rosa up, to do the presentation, he had to start the presentation all over. That's how bad it was. So imagine somebody going through a presentation for 20 minutes. Okay. And because I did such a bad job, when he came back up, he was like, yo, can we start the presentation all over? Like, that's what he did. That's when I knew I did a terrible job. When he had to start, yo, can we start from the first slide? And I was like, sheesh, man. I just messed up my opportunity to show these people that I'm actually good at this. But because I was so nervous and I didn't know, I messed it up. So at that time, so then it leads to this. And then listen to what happens. So Matt tells me this, Matt comes up and he sees me do this presentation. He starts all over again from the presentation. And remember, this is his first impression of me. So this is the one of the rising leaders in New York City. So I go up there, I do a pretty bad job, and then he starts it all over. So that's his impression of me. So then next time he comes to New York, I'm a better leader at the time, whatever. Oh, yo, it's so funny. He's actually on Instagram right here with me. So then he comes to New York, and next time, but this time, his wife is with him. So it goes into the borrowed faith. Yo, Matt, listen to this. I'm telling them the story about Shorty. So the next time he comes, he's in New York, but now it's more of us and his wife is there. And, long story short, we're all there, we're studying, and, I was always such a good student. So like when Matt speaks and when anybody around me speaks that I look at as a mentor, as inspiration, I'm always taking notes. I'm always there. You know, I'm always paying attention. I'm always making eye contact. Like I'm always such a good student. You know, so long story short, they go home and his wife tells him like, yo, Matt, you need to pay attention to this kid, Nano. He wants it. This kid is going to be one of the next six-figure earners. And Matt sits there and he's like, Nano, like, you sure? Because if you would have seen the presentation he did in Connecticut, like you wouldn't be saying that. And she was just like, yo, keep him close. I'm telling you, that kid is next up. Keep him close. He's next up. And I remember in times where I was down and I lost belief in myself, I would remember those words from his wife, Janelle's. Yo, bro, I don't have faith right now, but I gotta borrow her faith. She has faith in me. She believes that I'm gonna be a top leader in New York City. She sees me as a six-figure earner. At the time, I didn't see it though, but I had to borrow someone's faith. Like, yo, Nano, you got to keep going because you can't let her down. You know, and sometimes it goes to what I'm saying right now. Sometimes you lose the faith. You may lose the vision, but somebody else has that vision for you. Somebody else has that faith in you. Use it, borrow it. That's what I did. I borrowed her faith. Okay. I literally borrowed her faith. And I remember literally sending her a text message during Thanksgiving the other day, just thanking her because she saw me for more than what I saw myself. And I had to use that faith at certain moments to help me keep going. Look, today, everything that she saw 6 years ago is a reality today. Talk about intuition, talk about knowing for real, right? Talk about knowing, talk about like, but had I not borrowed the faith, okay, that's the key. It's the power of the vision. Someone else sometimes sees the vision before you see it yourself. Okay, there's some of the leaders that are on this call that are part of my leadership group that I see them for way more than they see themselves. And there's going to be times where they may not have belief, where they lose it, where, you know, they go through a tough time. And I just pray and I ask you guys, yo, borrow my faith because I have the faith in you. The same way I was able to borrow Janelle's faith, I want you guys to borrow my faith in those moments. Yo, you know what? Right now, I feel down. I don't feel like I got it, but I'm gonna take Nano's faith because Nano believes I'm gonna be a top leader. Nano believes I'm gonna be I'm gonna be the person that breaks the generational curses in my family. And sometimes you need that. Okay, so that goes into point number one: seeing the vision over judging yourself. That's number one, and this is key. Okay, very, very key. Now, point number two, when it comes to seeing potential beyond your circumstance, is that growth happens in the shadows. Okay. Growth happens in the shadows. Put a 1 in the chat box if you ever heard the quote that says, you know, it's not what you do when everybody's watching, it's what you do when nobody's watching. Put a 1 if you ever heard that. It's not what you do when no one's watching. It's what you do. Sorry, it's not what you do when everybody's watching. It's what you do when nobody's watching. Okay. Growth happens in the shadows. Okay. And we got to remember this. We got to understand this. You see, a lot of us, it's all about posting on social media and showing everybody that we're doing the work. But the work that you show is not the work that counts. The work that counts is the work that you do when nobody's watching, when there's no cameras, where there's no stories, where there's no IG lives, where there's none of this. That's where the growth happens. Okay. It's those early mornings. It's those late nights. Okay. That's where the growth really happens, guys. And this is what I want you guys to start to embrace. And I want you guys to start understanding going into this new year, 2025. Your growth is going to happen in the shadows when no one's watching. It's not about what you do when everybody's watching. It's about what you do when no one is watching. Are you actually doing everything that you said you were going to do? Are you actually going to the gym? Are you actually reading those books? Are you actually studying? Are you actually stepping out of your comfort zone? Or are you just putting up the front or putting up the fake? Or are you actually doing it? My mentor once told me, he said, Nano, You get celebrated in public for what you do in private. Those words stuck with me forever. You get celebrated in public for what you do in private. So you want more celebration in public? It's all a reflection of what you do in private. The people that you see that get celebrated and they're on stages and they get accomplishments, they get rewards, is the reason those people are getting those things is because of all the work that they did in private. I remember stepping up on stage. I remember the first times I was getting celebrated and I was being, given awards and this and that. And I remember thinking, I'm like, man, only if people knew how much work I put in behind closed doors that people didn't see, that I didn't post on Instagram, that I didn't even talk about. People don't know that I was up at this time every day. People don't know that I struggled with this and with that, and the books that I read and the amount of times that I wrote my goals down, and people didn't see any of that. So today I get celebrated in public, but it was about, the work that I did in private, the work that nobody saw, the events that nobody showed up. Okay. All the no's that I got, the friends that laughed at me. Okay. All the arguments that I had behind the scenes, all the things that happened. So you got to keep that in mind, guys, moving forward. The things that the things that happen in life, they're going to happen. But remember, growth happens in the shadows. All right. And the challenges and the stuff that you go through in life, they're all part of it. All of us here will have some challenges in 2025, but they're there to help us grow. Remember, change your perception. There's perspective and there's perception. Perspective is what you see. Perception is how you see it. You got to learn how to change your perception and learn to see everything from a positive perspective. I'm telling you, it'll make a huge difference for you. If you learn how to look at everything from a positive lens, right? Instead of seeing the glass half empty, seeing it half full at all times, this will help you out in so many ways. Because, Bob Proctor said, Nano, every time a situation happens, do these 3 things. Okay. Number 1, it is what it is. When anything happens, when any situation happens, I live by this. Still to this day, Bob Proctor's words and this lesson is installed in my head, literally. Okay. It's literally installed in my head. Number 1, it is what it is. It is what it is. It happened. It's part of the game. Number 2, harvest the good. Harvest the good. What's the good that you can get out of this? Don't focus on the bad. The bad is the bad. Harvest the good. What's the good in this situation? Even in the most negative situation, what's the good? What's the good out of it? What did you learn? What did it give you the opportunity to do? And then number 3, forgive and let go of the rest. Forgive and let go of the rest. And I live by that today. I live by it. I swear. Anytime anything happens, it is what it is. Harvest the good, forgive and let go of the rest. And those 3 things right there that Bob Proctor taught me, they live with me and they've allowed me to live so much more of a peaceful life. I live a more peaceful life today because of those lessons that Bob taught me. Because every time something happens in my life, I'm like, yo, it is what it is. I take the good and I forgive and let go of the rest. If you can install those, the same way it's installed in my mind, where every time something happens, I think of those 3 things. If you can install that in your mind, it'll be a massive game changer for you. Okay. So work on yourself, grow in the shadows. People are going to underestimate you. That's fine. Put in the work. Like I said, I put in that work because of I had so many people counting on me, bro. I had my parents, I had my mentors, I had people who saw me for more. They saw me for more. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes in those moments, you got to borrow that faith and use that faith and use that and use the doubt, the laughs. Bro, I some one of the secrets to my success, believe it or not, and a lot of people don't know this, but I know how to channel energy. And let me explain what that means. Some of you guys probably done it in the past, but when you learn how to channel your energy, bro, I'm telling you, you become a different person. I was able to take, a lot of negative energy, like the energy of people doubting me, laughing at me, people, extolling their fears. And I knew how to turn that anger into something positive. Like I have an ability to do that. I know how to channel all this negative energy and turn it into, believe it or not, anger is good because anger, in a way, it forces you and it encourages you to do things that you would have not done had you not been angry. Okay. And what I would do is, oh, you doubted me? All right, bet. I would get angry. Oh, mom, you don't believe that we're gonna be millionaires? You laughing at me? I used to tell my mom, we're gonna be millionaires one day. She'd be like, be realistic, papi. People will laugh at me. People will think I was crazy. People will doubt me. All of these things, and I would just sit there, and I'm like, all right, yeah, y'all think I'm a joke. Y'all think this is a game. All right, I'm gonna be up early tomorrow. I'm gonna work hard as hell tomorrow. I'm gonna push myself in the gym. I'm gonna read that book. I'm gonna talk to everybody tomorrow. I'm gonna show you if we're gonna be millionaires. I'm gonna show you that we're gonna move out of the hood. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna prove you wrong. And I would use that energy, that anger that I would get. I would keep it to myself. They wouldn't know that I was angry, but I will learn how to channel that energy into work, into action, into success. Because I've seen people in the same circumstances as me who have gotten doubted, laughed at, and thing. And you know what they do? Oh my God, like I'm not working. Like, I guess I am not meant for this. I shouldn't do this. I don't want to keep getting laughed at. I don't want people to say this about me. I've seen people put in the same circumstances shrivel up. Nah, I'm not gonna post on social media. I don't want people to laugh at me anymore. What do I need to wake up early for? I'm not making any progress anyways. That wasn't me though. That wasn't me. I was the one, it would light a fire inside of me. I would light a fire inside of me. People will leave my business and be like, all right, that's fine. They left my business. It is what it is. Now I'm gonna read all the books. Like, I remember people were leaving my business, and I used to take fault in that. Bro, I read every leadership book that you could imagine. I read them all. I mean, I got like 2 or 3 of them up there. I got a bunch in my living room. I got a bunch of them right here. I'm like, okay, I guess people don't think I'm a good leader. Fine. I'm gonna become the best leader. I'm gonna show them. Instead of me being like, damn, bro, my business is always falling apart. And I used to use it as fire, guys. That's what it was. People were leaving my business. Okay, I'm gonna become a better leader. I was losing money here. I would take that and I'd be like, okay, let me practice a budget. That's what I recently did. I'm like, yo, where's my money going? Like, yo, where's my money going? I got frustrated. I printed out 90 days of bank statements and I went and sat there for almost 2 hours. I literally counted every dollar that I spent and where and categorized it and did it all. I didn't want an app to do it. I said, I want to do it. I want to sit down and see it for myself. Sometimes we have to all learn how to do it as well, like that, because that's how the growth is going to happen in the shadows. That's how the growth is going to happen in the shadows, is by you learning how to take people's negative energies, people's doubts, people's fears, people's insecurities about you and turning it into passion, turning it into purpose, turning it into action. Because we are the ones that are going to be judged the most. And it is super important that you guys understand that. Okay. So point number 2 is growth happens in the shadow. And then point number 3, when it comes to seeing potential beyond circumstances, is become a builder of people. Become a builder of people. Remember, guys, a leader's role is to believe in others even when they can't believe in themselves. We've talked about this on today's call. All right. It's not just about growing yourself. It's about you growing the people around you as well. Grow the people around you. Encourage the people around you. Help see the best in other people as well. Because this is what starts to happen. When you start growing yourself, no, it's iced coffee, bro. When you start growing yourself and you start seeing the potential in yourself and you start seeing what you're capable of, naturally, you're going to be like, yo, you know what, Gabby? Yo, you could do this, sis. Let's go. Let's do it. Natasha, Sophia, right? Vidalis, okay? Zion, Eunice, Crystal. Yo, let's go, sis. I know you could do it. I know you could get to the next level. I know this is going to be your biggest year. Believe it or not, guys, I mean, you guys, it's not even believe it or not, but think about how much life I sometimes speak into you guys. I'm always telling you guys, yo, I believe in y'all. Y'all are worth more. You're more valuable. Sometimes you may not see it, but I'm always speaking life, seeing you for more. Even though I can't see you right now, I'm letting you know that, yo, I see you for more. Because the fact that you're even on this call says a lot about you. It says you want to learn. It says you want to become better. I got my sis Rosie on here. You can ask her right now. Literally the other day I text her. I'm like, yo, I know you're the one. Let's go. I believe in you. Let's go. We got you. Let's go. You know, like it's seeing that. Seeing people for more. And you got to become a builder of people. Because it's not just about seeing yourself for more. It's about seeing others for more. Because remember, success is not measured by what you do. Success is measured by what you do for others. But before you can encourage others, you got to encourage yourself. Before you lead others, you got to lead yourself. Before you put other people's mask on, you got to put the mask on yourself. You got to take care of yourself before you can take care of others. That's why they say you got to be selfish to be selfless. Some people are too selfless and forget to be selfish with themselves. You got to find the balance in both. Learn to be selfish with yourself. Work on yourself. Make yourself a priority. And then naturally, you'll be good at being selfless. That's fine. If you can learn to do that, I promise you, a lot of things will change for you. But you got to be willing to work on you first, see the potential in you first, and then you help others see the potential in themselves. Be the example that you want to see in the rest of the world. You want people to be more consistent? Make sure you're consistent before you ask others. You want to be more disciplined? Make sure you're disciplined before you ask others to do the same. You want people to step out of their comfort zone? Show people that you're stepping out of your comfort zone so they can do the exact same thing. Whatever you're going to ask people to do, make sure that you're doing it. I will never ask you guys to do something that I haven't already done. I will never tell you guys to go do something that I'm not doing. I will only tell you guys to do things that I've done or that I'm currently doing. Only. That's how you become the example. Be the example that you want to see in the rest of the world. All right, guys. And that right there are the 3 points. Very simple. Those are the 3 points to seeing potential beyond circumstances. Number 1 is the power of vision over judgment. Number 2 is growth happens in the shadows. And number 3 is become a builder of people. Remember, guys, the oak, it sleeps in the acorn. The bird waits in the egg, it says. You got to see yourself for more. All right, think about it. We see an egg, but there's a bird inside an egg. There's eagles inside certain eggs, you know? There was dinosaurs inside of certain eggs. But sometimes all we see is the egg. See yourself for more. Look at yourself in the mirror and see the best version of you and watch what happens next. All right, guys. So with that being said, that wraps up today's session. Put a 333 in the chat if you guys got value from today's training. Okay. If you got value from today's training, put a 333 in the chat. And with that being said, guys, that wraps it up. I appreciate you guys so much for, jumping on today's call. I'm really, really grateful for all of you guys. We won't have another call till probably next Thursday. I know that next Tuesday is Christmas Eve, so we will not do a call on Christmas Eve. Just a heads up. All right. The next call that we're going to be doing is on next Thursday, which is December, 26th. Okay. December 26th is the next call that we're going to be doing. All right. So just keep that in mind. No call on Tuesday. And our next call will be on Thursday, the 26th. All right, guys. So I appreciate you guys so much. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all. Please stay safe for anyone who's going to be traveling. I pray that this year is, filled with so much love, so much family, and just everything. I pray that you get everything that you want this year. And if this is one of those Christmases where you're not where you want to be at, and you're not happy right now because of, you wish you were in a certain place, or there was a certain goals that you didn't hit, or whatever it is, let this be the Christmas that you tell yourself, yo, this is the last Christmas that I feel like this. Like I said, learn how to turn that anger into passion and action. Tell yourself, yo, this is the last Christmas that I'll be like this. This is the last Christmas that I don't have enough money to buy gifts for my family. This is the last Christmas that I'm like this. Next Christmas is going to be better than it is. And sometimes you need it. MMX call Wednesday. No call Wednesday. We'll only have a call Monday, Thursday, and Friday next week. Monday, Thursday, Friday next week. No calls Tuesdays and Wednesdays. All right, guys. So I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your days, beautiful rest of your weekends. Have a happy holidays. Merry Christmas to every single one of you guys. I love y'all all. I'm going to do a little quick prayer for us, and we're going to wrap it up right there. Quick prayer. Let's wrap it up. Just some thank you. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Thursday morning. Because you woke us up this morning, we know that you are not done working on us. Thank you, God, so much for seeing us for more than we see ourselves. You more than anybody knows what we're capable of. And I know that's why you push us. That's why you challenge us. That's why you put the right people in our lives to hold us accountable, because you see us for a lot more than we see ourselves, Father. And from this point moving forward, going into this new year, we're going to start seeing ourselves for more. We're going to start pushing ourselves outside of our comfort zones. We're going to work on ourselves more than we've ever done, because we know that we are capable of so much more. So thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your vision, your accountability with us, the challenges that you put in our lives. Thank you for our health. Thank you for this community. Just thank you so much for everything that you're doing for us. Thank you for our families. Thank you for the safe travels during the holidays. Thank you, God. We are so internally grateful. I speak on behalf of the whole entire community. There's no words that can describe the gratitude that we feel in our hearts for everything that you've done for us up until this very moment. But we're also very grateful for everything that you're going to do for us in the future. So we love you so much. Thank you for leading the way. Thank you for guiding us. Thank you for being there for us. We love you and we appreciate you. In God's name we pray. Amen. 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 All right. So with that being said, I pray you guys all have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rest of your days and weekends. Go out there, be safe, love on your families, be present during the holidays. And, I hope to see you guys next week. Next Thursday, I'll see you guys and we'll keep running it up from there. God bless you guys. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas and enjoy, fam. God bless. Thank you, familia.